Hey everybody! It is episode 10. We don't normally say what number these are, but I mean, that's kind of a big deal. Episode 10. We made it this far. Episode 10, Sunday, March 26, 2023, and you are listening to Black Box Signal, the only podcast on the internet for video games. Like, the only one. I mean, I know there's a lot more, but do they really count? As always, I'm here with my co-host, 10 episodes in, Brandon Gaston. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
So yeah, you've moved some things around. You've had a busy week.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
I know you kind of blurred out, so nobody can see this, and also the people that are listening to this are not going to get it. But
yeah. So over the weekend, I got an early Father's Day gift, so I got a new computer desk. So we tore apart the whole stream setup and everything, and me and my brother. Shout outs to my brother, the middle brother, mind you, not my oldest brother. The middle one.
Yeah.
He's
Fuck
the one
my
that
oldest
helped
brother.
me out.
No, I'm kidding.
No, he's the one that helped me out, and he was like, "Make sure you give me some props." All right, I'll give you some props. No, so he helped me tear apart everything and move everything around. So we've got a new setup now. You can't really see it because it's blurred behind here, but if you watched the stream yesterday, you could kind of see it a little bit. It'll be a little bit better once I get a couple more doodads in here. You know, I've got we'll have big things coming. We'll actually have like a real webcam for once, you guys. So I'm excited for that. So we can actually get a little bit crispier of a picture and not constrained to me having to use this laptop built-in one right now.
Right.
But yeah, definitely move some things around. You know what? We were joking about my stuff gonna poop out on me, and it didn't. I hooked everything back up properly and nothing cut out.
Nothing broke.
Done right. Nothing defaulted. You know how everything is. You breathe on it, and it's like, I'm gonna go back to default settings.
Okay, so you know how I said I had updates? So I had the Wavelink update. My graphics card had an update, and then actually Windows had an update overall. So I actually had to do 3 updates right before this. And I just had to, and I just
Wow.
I'm just gonna double check everything. Only podcast worth my time. Thanks, Johnny Ringo. Thanks,
Hey,
buddy.
we love you.
Great guy. But yeah, so I had to update all that stuff. Let's see, what did I do this week? I mean, you did that. Did I do anything exciting? I think last week we talked about the tires. I had to get new glasses. You can see if you're watching this.
Yep.
I don't know how I still don't know how I feel about the clear ones. Because I got these clear ones and I got
Honestly,
black ones exactly like it. So
I don't mind the clear ones. Actually, you pull that off. I don't think I could pull off clear glasses. I don't. You know why? Because your face is more narrow than mine. I have a more fuller, like rounder face, and that's why the big, thick black frames look good on my face when I wear them.
yeah, so yeah, and these are the ones that Violet picked out. So, um, but the black ones don't look any different. They look exactly like this because I'm so boring. Except they're black. That's about all I did this week outside of gaming. I think I didn't get a cool new desk. I didn't get anything cool like that.
You know what? I went over to my buddy's house on Friday and we played Gauntlet on his PS5, and that was cool. I haven't played Gauntlet since I was probably 12 at Slick's house. So
Nice. Yeah. So we'll just get right into your thing. We're gonna get right into games here. You've been waiting all week, since like a couple weeks now to get into this. So I'm going to leave the floor to you, sir. How is Tetris Effect?
oh, fantastic. It's everything I wanted it to be.
Yeah. Oh no. We know what you're gonna get into. So I leave the floor to you.
Yeah, so Resident Evil 4 Remake, everybody, finally dropped Friday. And we were laughing because I was telling you at work, like, I literally woke up in the morning, booted up my PlayStation, clicked the download button, and then put it into rest mode and let it do its thing while I was at work. So far, it's phenomenal. Like, literally everything I said when we played the chainsaw demo still applies. Like, the game graphically is gorgeous. It's stunning. Like, I find myself just stopping periodically, just like panning the camera around, like, this looks so freaking good, dude. So good. Like, even like this is going to be kind of gruesome, but like the death animations and stuff, dude, they went all in on this. Like even the death animations and stuff are freaking gnarly and brutal and just awesome. So where are we at? We played probably we're like 4 or 5 hours in now. And I am just slightly past the and I'm not saying spoilers because this game's old. All right, let's be honest. It's a remake of the old game. So if you haven't seen this yet, boohoo on you. I'm sorry. But I
I'll
played a
put
little
in a
bit
time
off
code.
I played a little bit off stream this morning and got just past the part where the infamous section where you're locked in that cabin or whatever with I can't remember his name. I always just want to call him like Juan or something like that. He has like a
Ooh,
Hispanic name. I can't remember what it
yeah.
is now. Raul or something. I can't remember. Well, anyways, it's the two of you. You're locked in there, and all these ganados are coming in. And you have to like defend them off for X amount of time. Still hard. I died like twice in there, so still annoying. Um, what else did we do? Oh, we fought two bosses so far. So we did the fish boss at the
Yep,
lake,
that's
which
where I jumped
everybody,
in and watched
yeah,
you at. I was like, oh man, he's at the
mm-hmm.
fish boss already. Saw
Dude,
that.
and that still is pretty much a gimme fight. I feel like it was in the first, it was in the original, so I feel like it was still kind of a
But I will
gimme
say,
boss
just
in
from
this one.
watching it, like I was only watching it on my phone. It looked really good even from my phone. I did watch somebody else's stream when you weren't streaming, like on my TV, like yesterday.
Uh huh,
And yeah, you're absolutely right. That game looks
dude.
real. They did such a phenomenal job with how it looks.
Really good,
Yeah.
really good. Even so, I know that they changed the raid mechanic because a bunch of people were complaining about it, or they haven't changed it yet, and there's a patch coming. So if they haven't changed it yet, um, then that's like I think it looks great as is, so they shouldn't change it. But if it's already been changed, because I haven't seen a patch yet, but I know they were talking about patching the rain. Um, it looks good. Either way, the rain looks pretty good in it. Just little nuances like when you go from like outside in the rain to inside, Leon kind of like shrugs the water off and like you can hear him kind of shiver a little bit as he's trying to warm up because he's in a dry area now. Um, Ashley still annoying as fuck, dude. I'm sorry, but like having to have her follow you around is it's just
Well,
super
I
annoying.
think that is endemic of just. I'll be honest. I don't like escort missions. Period. In games, I hate them in
Period.
Grand Theft
Yeah.
Auto. Whether you're escorting
Mm-hmm.
a car, escort missions are never fun. They've never found a
No.
way to make them fun.
No.
And I think you can't really do a whole lot about that unless you fundamentally change up what. Unless you just get rid of them. That's it. Because the whole nature of an
Yeah.
escort mission, that's what you're doing. But yeah.
But it's a little bit better. They've revamped it a little bit. I feel like now, like a lot of stuff, I'm real hazy trying to remember because let's face it, when I played this was back on the GameCube and we were like, how old then?
Right. We were
Like
like 14,
12,
15,
13,
12, 13,
something
14,
like that.
15. Yeah.
So yeah, that was probably like 20 years ago. So I'm a little foggy on it. But so what they have now is so on the hold on, I got to hold my controller to think about it. So on the right thumbstick, right, which I have a huge problem with this right now. That's how you command Ashley is by the right thumbsticks, right? So you've got two modes. You have follow me close, so that's good for like when you want her to be by you and you like need to sprint past stuff or whatever, and then you can click it down and you have loose mode where like supposedly she's supposed to like get behind you and be further back when you're like in the thick of it fighting ganados or whatever. Uh Still kind of iffy on whether or not that works very well or not. And then the oh yeah, this is the spoilers. I did fight the Chainsaw Sisters, and so you can still
Okay.
command her to go hide, which is nice because remember in the original, there are spots where you can make her go hide in like a trunk or something, so that way you don't have to
Right.
worry about her.
Right.
You can do that in this section. I had her hide in a locker, but here's the problem. Like as I'm in the thick of it, as I'm like rotating around with the controls and stuff, I've kept clicking the thumbstick in and calling her to come out of the fucking box while there's dudes everywhere. And I'm like, no, go back in there,
Perfect.
damn it.
Perfect.
So kind of annoying. But it's cool because they've added in a bunch of like, they've kind of emphasized more of that. And I feel like there's going to be more sections heavier with having Ashley than the original. So like in this one, I've already ran into 2 areas where you have to have her with you to access for extra stuff, treasures and stuff. So that's kind of cool having to like navigate her through some areas to get these extra stuff if you want them, treasures or whatever happens to be there, documents. So that's kind of a cool thing, not necessarily something you have to do, but you know me.
Right.
If there's something there, I want to take a peek at it.
Right.
So that was kind of cool. They've added in so your case now, this is interesting, and I still don't know how I feel about this yet. So before you could just like typical fashion from 4 on, you can like increase your inventory size or whatever. Well, in this one now you have different cases you can buy, and it changes the way your briefcase looks when you open your inventory. But here's the thing, they each have different effects to them, right? So the one I have on right now is just the standard beginner one because it increases the drop chance of pistol ammo from enemies. And then like the other one I have increases the chance that like when you kill enemies, they just drop money. So it's kind of like, I don't know how I feel about it. Kind of cool, but like also kind of too arcadey feeling, I guess.
Well, I do know that like RE4 is the most common one to get speed run. So maybe it's to kind of like for people that are going to play the game more than once. I could see
Oh,
that.
that would make sense. That would make sense then. And then also they have charms. And I think you can equip up to 3 different charms onto your case that do different things too. Like I got one that was like increases bolt ammo when you make it or whatever, which is garbage, and I don't use the bolt thrower.
Yeah,
Um,
I never used the bolt thrower either.
nope. And what I'm trying to think of what else. There's a lot. My head's swimming because there's just I'm in the nostalgia overload of how great this game is.
Yeah.
Everything I read online have already given it like all 10s. Like I saw a thing on Twitter actually the other day and I forgot to fucking send it to you. So they had like the meta score. So they had
The
RE4
Metacritic
when it
score.
came out and then the RE4 remake, and they were almost fucking identical. RE4 remake was like 0.2 points below
The original.
the OG when it came out. So I was like, like, okay, okay.
Right.
Um, let's see here. Weapon wise, so far we've seen the standard pistol. I did scrap it for the. Oh, so this is the other thing too. So a while back, I was talking about how in the OG game they had these little blue medallions you could shoot down, and you got a different variation of your starting pistol. So they have branched on that. So there's these little like, it looks like a little blue piece of paper. They're very easy to spot. If you click on them to examine them, they give you like a mission you can do, and then if you complete it, and you go back to the merchant, he gives you these things called spinets. They look like little gems, and they're special currency that you can use to trade to him for certain items. Like there's another case I can get. But I bought what's called the Punisher, which is like a variation of the starting pistol. It's slightly less damage, but it trades the damage for penetrating shots. So if you line up Ganados, you can shoot 2 or 3 of them with 1 bullet, which has been pretty nice. Um, he's got like other like kind of garbage stuff in there, like, oh, I can trade these for treasure to sell for treasure, which seems like a waste in my opinion. I bought a treasure map with them, which is cool. So that shows you like where the treasure in the area is, which is super helpful if you're trying to get extra money to upgrade stuff. And then the other big thing is the knife, right? So they've really kind of heavied out on like the actual combat in this. So now you've got like, you can just swing your regular knife attacks. You can like shoot Ganados in the head and they'll give you an X prompt, and you can run up and like fucking scissor kick them and shit like that, you know, because apparently Leon's like judo kung fu master, I guess. But
Right.
I mean, he's hired by the CIA, so sure, why not? Um, So that's pretty cool. But the knife has degradation on it, which actually
Right,
normally
I
I'm not a
saw that.
fan. Normally I'm not a fan of that. Me and you have talked about that with Zelda. Um, but this is just really one item, which is fine with me because, like we said, my big thing with degradation is if there's no way to repair it, which you can in this. Anytime you go see the merchant, you can just repair the durability on it, and then you can increase it too. So it's got two spots to upgrade on it, damage wise, and then the durability. And then obviously, then you have the option you can repair it at any time. And then they do give you alternatives too. So like if your combat knife breaks, you can pick like you can get these little like kitchen knives, which I was laughing about. I'm like, yeah, look at me, bro. I got paring knife. Like, but I guess it's a knife. A knife's a knife. It'll kill somebody, so whatever. Um, but yeah, it's been really cool. The merchant's not as creepy as I remember him being, and I still have not heard my line that I want to hear. What you buying? What you selling? I want it. I just want it so bad. Um, and then what do I want to say? The last thing I really kind of want to touch on is so then they added in, so there's this new thing too going on the charms thing. So at one of the spots where the merchant's at, you can ride this little trolley elevator down, and he's got like a shooting range game that you can play. It's completely free. It's unlimited ammo when you use it. It's just whether you want to spend the time doing it or not. I checked it out on stream just to see it, but it's probably not something I'm going to really get heavy on because I don't like mini games of that genre typically. But it's cool. You get like points for it, and you can turn them in to get a random charm out of like as my cousin said on stream, a gumball machine essentially. So that's kind of a cool thing. And then they do have little statue things that you can shoot out, kind of like the Mr. Raccoons in Resident Evil 2, and the little what the hell was it? They had something similar to that in Resident Evil 3 remake, also essentially, and that's more solely I think for an achievement thing than anything. But it's a cool thing they added in. You know how trophy hunters are; they like shit like that. So I feel like this caters to kind of like everybody, real like different types of gamers. Honestly, it's got some pretty action heavy stuff. There's more stealthier stuff now, which has been a kind of a different change of pace for Resident Evil, in my opinion, because I feel like there's been a lot of like you don't necessarily have to be stealth, but I feel like that is better option in some of these specific instances in the game. So
Right.
we'll see. I'm excited to play more. I've been having a lot of fun with it.
Nice, nice, awesome. Yeah, I played that one a lot, and then I'm really hoping that the next one I feel like they're gonna make 5 and 6 next, but I really want them to do Code Veronica. I would really
A
want them to do a Code Veronica
lot of people
really
have been
bad.
saying that.
Next.
A lot of people have been saying that on Twitter that chronologically they feel like five's going to come next, but I really feel like they should just do. I'm with you. I didn't play Code Veronica, so that'd be cool to see them remake that because that's a pretty big fan favorite game. I feel like.
Also, if they do remake 5 and 6, it gives a chance for them to fix them because they'll be like, all right, we
Um,
can make them better than they were.
okay, so I'm in the very small camp that I liked five a lot actually.
But you
Six
played it
is,
co-op.
but I played. See, and that's my
That's what
thing.
a
I
lot
go
of
on
people
is
say
I
is like
played it co-op.
a lot of people say they had a lot better time with that game if they played it co-op versus if they played it
Mm-hmm.
solo because the AI
Yeah.
sucked.
Yes, the AI is utter poop shoot in that. Trust me. I played it like a second time through without somebody, just playing by myself. And yes, the AI is dumb, like dumber than a bag of hammers, dude. Like it wouldn't even know to breathe unless you told it to. Like it's that bad. It's
Yeah,
real
it's really
bad.
bad. I
Mm-hmm.
I had that game pre-ordered, and then when they did like the little like you could play like the first level like a few weeks before, I played the first level and immediately canceled my pre-order.
Mm.
That's how like
Mm-mm-mm.
I was like,
That's
nope,
a shame.
nope, I'm gonna dodge this mess.
Mm. That game had like a lot of cool stuff in it though, I thought at least. Like the whole you having to do the two-man battle against Jill, brainwashed Jill, and like you couldn't just like kill her, right? Like you had like it had like this really cool mechanic We had to like basically incapacitate her and then pull that like mind control thing off her chest. And it took me and my buddy hours to even figure out how that worked, let alone getting it to actually work and fucking beat that fight. Oh my god. But yeah, I thought they had some pretty cool stuff with that game myself personally. Now 6, there ain't no saving that. Don't even remake that.
Yeah. No, or just like if you're gonna remake it, completely remake it. Like pretend it never happened and
Yeah.
like fix it.
This is how you remake that game. You just put it in the dumpster and pretend it didn't exist.
You just make Code Veronica. Like that's how
Yeah.
you
Yeah. Exactly.
we make that 6. So I know I said I was gonna stream this week and then that didn't happen. Because things, like always. Life of having a 6-month-old.
Oh yeah.
But I did play more Like a Dragon Ishin off stream. Got to the point to where we joined the Shinsengumi. And I'm actually captain of my own squad. To join the Shinsengumi, I had to fight the second captain and the first captain because there's like a bunch of different squads, and I'm now the third squad captain.
Bro, you're a Soul Reaper now? Captain of Squad 2?
um and yeah, so I had to do some fights. So that's kind of where I am at right now. The gameplay I feel really wants you to lean into using the pistol and sword, because there's those 3 styles or 4 styles. There's just the brawler, which is just like your traditional Yakuza, beat 'em up style. Then if you hit right on the D-pad, it switches to just katana. Left on the D-pad is just pistol, and then which is usually a revolver, and then up is sword in one hand, revolver in the other. And that's the play style that I've been finding myself playing the most as, because it's really good and like it's really good for crowd control. It's really fast.
Okay.
You can't defend as well, but you can dodge really well. But I'm trying to level them all up like evenly. And I don't know, man, that game's just really fun. I want to play a lot more of it. I've been enjoying it. And I haven't even gotten to like the mini game portions yet. Like I did one little mini side quest where I taught some kids at an elementary school geography because the teacher had never seen a globe ever in his life, so he didn't know how to use it. Well, you got to think at the time, this is when Japan was just opening its borders again.
No, it's more along the lines of like you're supposed to be a geography teacher and you've never seen a globe. That just kind of baffles
So
me,
he just finds some random samurai on the street and be like, "Can you help me? Because you've seen the globe before."
Right.
Yeah, but so that's kind of funny. But I don't know. I love it. I like just being able to like, oh, I got my own little house. I got a little house with like a little garden and a bathhouse.
Oh, nice.
And
I like stuff like that.
yeah, like
slice of life stuff.
Yeah, so it's like I'm living kind of like how like I really like Persona because I was running around anime Tokyo, like modern day anime Tokyo. This is like I'm running around like an old, 1800s or Kyoto, and just going to market, and sometimes I want to go gamble, go hit the bathhouse. Don't even like follow the story. Yeah. So I've been enjoying that more than anything. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna keep playing that. I don't know how much I want to do one more stream of it before I dive into something else. I think this is gonna be kind of the game that I'm gonna like keep poking at all year long because it was just something that I picked up. But then the big thing I checked out actually right before we started, oh my gosh, John just said, going back to our Resident Evil stream conversation. So RE5 was my first full playing experience, not counting Code Veronica. So nothing but love there. Ooh.
That's kind of a. I mean, that's kind
but
of.
But if that's the one that you jumped in on, then I mean, it's nothing but up from 5. Well, I mean, not counting 6. And he said Code Veronica he played. So awesome.
Oh, nice.
But anyway, going back to what I know, we gotta. There's sometimes a little bit of a delay in the chat. But where was I at? Yeah, I'm gonna be playing more of that game. Like I said, get one more stream in maybe. And then the other big thing that I played right before we got on the podcast actually was I checked out, because they have open beta for it this weekend. I checked out the Diablo 4 beta. Just because it's available to everybody right now until I think midnight tonight. So I just downloaded it. I downloaded it on my PS5, and played it, and I guess the criticism from like the last game that I hear a lot is that like the art style was a little cartoony-ish or too brightly colored. Don't worry about that here because like it opens up pretty fucking dark and drab as hell, and really goes back, leans hard back into like its dark, the dark roots. So I guess people that are a fan of that will be pleasantly surprised. Other than that, it's a Diablo-ass Diablo game. It plays like a Diablo. It's got the dodge roll from the console release. That's now in all the versions. I played as a druid. In the beta, you can play as a barbarian. I think you play as all the classes that you can. Yeah, because you could play barbarian. You could play sorcerer. You could play rogue, druid, and necromancer. Those are the ones you play as. I picked a druid. But yeah, it's a Diablo-ass Diablo game. It looks really good. The cutscenes looked phenomenal. Blizzard still knocks it out of the park with their cutscenes. I don't know. How big were you into Diablo? Because I was a little bit more into Warcraft and Starcraft. But I did touch a little bit of Diablo 2. Then I got actually really into Diablo 3. But
I was actually a pretty big Diablo person. I played Diablo back on D1 back in the day. And that game is, oh man, if you try and go back to playing that, it's, for one, there's no run command. You walk everywhere and you walk really slow and it's pretty painstaking. But and they only had like 3 classes in that you could play as. And then I remember, so this is the funny story. So then I got D2 and loved that, played that all the time. Me and my buddies used to play that every half day Wednesday morning. And then the D2 expansion came out. And here's the funny story. You know how I got that? My dad was running some stuff through the paper shredder and he grabbed something that he thought was nothing in it to try and push this thing down. But what it was it was the sleeve with my D2 disc, and he shredded my D2 disc and broke it.
ooh.
So to make up for it, he went to the store and I told him the D2 expansion was the game that he broke. And he bought it for me, and that's how I ended up getting the D2 expansion. So
Nice.
I loved, like I said, I love D2. I spent many a days playing that game. And my main character in that was the Amazon, and I used to always like, most people played as the bow version or Boazon, but I always liked the Javazon, throwing the javelins because they turned into lightning bolts, even though it was considered not the good one. But and I played a little bit of D3. I didn't really get into D3 that much, but then again, I just feel like that style of games kind of bounces off me now that I'm older, I guess, would be my opinion.
Yeah, but I would say, yeah, if you're listening to this right now and you want to stop listening to this to go check out the Diablo beta, it's up for, I think, like until tonight at midnight. It took me a little while to download it. You can just jump right in, pick your class. I went through the first little opening area, the first little quest, and fought my first boss already. Like small boss, not like a huge boss. Kind of the opening one, kind of getting your feet wet.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and apparently it's got. I don't know if the beta's crossplay, but I mean, on the matchmaking all works and everything, so you can play with people. I didn't try that part out because I was just trying to jump in and test the waters. But yeah, it looks good. It's kind of got me a little curious because I don't normally pick these games up, but it's got me. I don't know. It plays really well. It's got me intrigued.
Piqued your interest?
Yep, for sure. But if you don't have anything else, and I don't really have anything else, we can jump into the news.
Sounds good.
All right.
What do we got today, sir?
This is a story that I missed last week. Actually, it comes from Eurogamer. When we were talking all the delays, looks like the System Shock remake has been delayed. It's now going to be coming. Looks like May 30th. Originally, it was supposed to be coming out this month. So, not a huge delay, but a small one at least. I don't know. What do you think about that? Did you ever play the original System Shock?
No, I did not. You said what? It's only like what, a month delay? Is
Yeah, a
that what it
little bit
was?
about a month, yeah, because it's
Oh,
we're
well, that's
now at the
not
end of
too
March, so end
bad.
of May, so really 2 months ish most.
That's not terrible, I guess. If they're just smoothing out some kinks or whatever, that's not really that bad,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah, I don't think it's gonna be that big of a deal. Yeah, I'm not a huge. I played the Bioshock games, and I know that the lineage is kind of like comes from the original System Shock. But I, only played Bioshock 1, 2, and Infinite, so I can't really speak to
Me
how
too.
the original System Shock was. I'm a bigger fan of Bioshock 2. If we're gonna go into which Bioshocks we like, but which one
Oh,
did you like
Bioshock
better?
1. Bioshock 1, it was so dark. Oh,
Yeah,
loved it.
yeah. But I'm excited to play System Shock when it does come out. And there's uh, they're apparently they're gonna be doing a console remake, but I don't think they announced the date. Right now it's just PC. So,
Mm.
um,
Would you kindly?
yes. This next story comes from GameSpot. EA is delisting a bunch of Battlefield games in April, and they're shutting the servers down. We're talking like Battlefield, Bad Company 1 and 2, 1943. And originally, this listing, this kind of changed throughout the week as I was kind of keeping tabs on it. Originally, they were going to apparently stop sale and delist the original Mirror's Edge. But they kind of backpedaled because that game is pretty beloved. I liked Mirror's Edge, the original one
I did
anyway.
too. I liked it.
Catalyst,
Mm-hmm.
not so much, but the original Mirror's Edge was really, really good. I guess they backpedaled and were like, nope, 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 not Mirror's Edge, because a lot of people still really like that game. But yeah, and they're specifically Dice games, if you notice, because Dice made Mirror's Edge and makes all the Battlefield games.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people were like kind of up in arms about it, but you'll still be able to play these games like you'll still be able to play the campaigns and stuff, but you just won't be able to do anything online, and you're not going to be able to buy them anymore, um, unless you like find a copy somewhere. But what do you think about that?
Honestly, it's not a big surprise. I mean, eventually you have to start shutting servers down to save money and free up assets for your, like, current stuff. So I kind of get it from that perspective. Honestly, it's always a bummer when a game that you love forever finally gets that whole like they're finally shutting it down, kind of a thing.
I think it sucks for like the medium as a whole, though, when stuff like this happens and we haven't found a good solution yet, because like film and stuff, like games preservation, like as an art, like film and stuff like gets saved and gets, you'll be able to find a film somewhere of something, but like games, like when stuff like this happens, it's like there's entire components of games that are just gone now that you can't, you know
Right.
and
Well,
that really sucks.
that's the problem we're running into with games now as a whole is it's hard to really preserve them because a lot of it's running on mainframes and servers. It's so like internet dependent now that
Right.
it's almost impossible to really preserve that
Well,
versus like your older games that didn't rely on that.
right. Well, like I had this story in here, but I couldn't find like the original source for it. But there was a guy, you can find it on YouTube and search it. But there's a guy, because the Nintendo Wii U and Nintendo 3DS eShops are like closing like now, like really soon. So he went through and bought every single item and every single game that you can buy on both those eShops just to preserve them. And I guess he's gonna donate it to the Video Games History Foundation, that foundation that's trying to preserve
Cool.
video games. But like, yeah, he spent like, I guess, close to like $200,000 over the course of like a few
Wow.
years to just slowly buy every single game that was on the Wii U eShop and on the 3DS eShop before they close them. So, uh, sucks that, I mean, cool that got preserved. Sucks that it had to go through those lengths to preserve it. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and that always sucks when games get delisted, because then it's just kind of like you don't, unless they open the cord back up, but or open it back up or start having people work on it again, that a lot of that stuff is just gone. Like, think of like when one day when Blizzard moves on from, and it'll happen eventually, when Blizzard moves on from World of Warcraft. And like, I mean, not anytime soon, but like, just think of it like that. And then those servers just shut down, and that's it. Like,
Yep.
it's, and Destiny, same thing. Like, someday it's gonna happen, and then that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be cool if we could find some sort of like solution to that. Um, I feel like we kind of predicted this one, or well, I think a lot. We predict a lot of things lately, it seems. But this is directly from the website counterstrike.net CS2. They're going ahead with Counter-Strike 2. Valve's actually doing it, and I'm actually on the page right now. You can actually sign up to test it. But hey, what do you think? Valve's actually, who we talked about this. Valve has no reason to make a game, but they're gonna get back into doing it for Counter-Strike 2.
I'm super shocked, to be honest with you, because they had been talking about Counter-Strike 2 for ever, it seems like, and then it never came out. And like we said, I mean, it's Valve. Valve has Steam, which is the largest like gaming marketplace essentially
It's
of all
Steam and
time.
it's Steam and Epic. They're the two that go, but it's still Steam pretty much.
Yeah. Like they really have no reason to even they don't even need to realistically, but it's cool that they are because fans that have loved Counter-Strike since 1.6, dude, like that's exciting. So I have no doubts that they'll do it right and do it justice because even for stuff like Source or Go, I know some other people that are purists and they're like 1.6 is the way to be, like Source and Go's trash or whatever. But I enjoyed both of them, honestly, including one and then 1.6 also. So I'll be excited to see what that's like. It now, you know me, I'm not big on like competitive first person shooting anymore, but I could see myself coming back to play a little bit of that probably.
Yeah. I didn't play much Counter Strike, to be honest. I played like a tiny bit of CS:GO and a little bit of Source, and that's about it. But I mean, cool to see Valve at least still cares about one of their franchises. Be nice to get more Half Life. That would be nice, but I don't see that
That'll
ever
probably,
happening.
well, I don't either. But then again, look, we said there wasn't gonna be another Counter Strike, and it looks like there's
True,
for sure gonna be happening.
true.
So never say never, my friend.
Backing up a little bit to Johnny Ringo in the chat. I for one hate that Hello Kitty World servers closed up. Oh, Hello Kitty Island Adventure. Yeah, yeah. What a bummer.
Darn.
Um, the next story I got here is from VentureBeat. The Strong National Museum of Play has announced their 2023 finalists for or nominees for the Video Game Hall of Fame. And the nominees are Age of Empires, Angry Birds, Barbie fashion designer, Call of Duty
Jesus.
4 Modern Warfare, Computer Space, FIFA International Soccer, GoldenEye 007, The Last of Us, NBA 2K, Quake, Wii Sports, and Wizardry. Um, so, and you look at like the list of like things that are in the current Video Game Hall of Fame. There are like a lot of like serious things. Like it's like Mario and like really like Pong's in there and like
Yeah, sure.
so like I'm looking at this list and I'm like I could see Call of Duty going in because that really changed the landscape of going like when Modern Warfare 4 came out.
Quake. I could see Quake going in there for sure.
Barbie fashion designer was actually really big at the time. And like brought like a quote unquote like a whole new audience for games. 'Cause it brought
Mm-hmm.
like women in, which as silly as that sounds, but like it did. It brought like younger girls in. Um, and I don't know. Do I see GoldenEye in there? Mm, I
I
could
mean,
see
I
I could
could
see
see
Wii
it.
Sports in there before I could see GoldenEye in there. Um,
And as bad as it sounds, like I when you were said Angry Birds, I kind of cringed, but like I could see it though because
What
honestly,
are the Video Game Hall of Fame? I want to see the. Let's see.
Angry Birds
Vid-
was such a fucking huge thing, dude. It really was, dude. Spanned
So
generations.
the
So I could see it.
current video game Hall of Fame is Dance Dance Revolution, uh,
Okay.
Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, Miss
Okay.
Pac-Man, Sid Meier's
Okay.
Civilization.
Okay.
Oh, view all inducted games. I was like, oh, I did some of them. Load more.
So far, I agree with everything.
Yeah, yeah. Civilization, Miss Pac-Man, Ocarina of Time, Dance Dance Revolution, original Pac-Man, World of Warcraft.
Okay.
I could see World of Warcraft
Okay.
because it definitely like changed. Original Doom,
Okay.
Pong, Grand
Uh huh.
Theft Auto 3 because that was like the first big like 3D Grand Theft Auto. I can see that.
Okay.
Oregon Trail,
Okay.
the original Legend of Zelda, The
Okay.
Sims, Sonic the Hedgehog, like the original, Space
Sure.
Invaders, Tetris, Super Mario Brothers, Tomb Raider, Space War, and John Madden Football, Final Fantasy VII, Where in the World is Carmen San Diego, Pokemon Red and Green, the original Pokemon, StarCraft, Halo, Flight Simulator, Street Fighter 2, and that's it.
Honestly, I don't have any qualms with any of
Oh
that.
wait,
That
nope,
all
there's more.
sounds
Animal
pretty legit.
Crossing, Animal Crossing,
Oh,
Donkey Kong, original Minecraft, King's Quest, Centipede, Bejeweled. That's all of them. Okay, so
I
uh,
don't really disagree with any of those, honestly. They all hit kind of in my mind that note to be in there. So
yeah, but just looking at the uh finalists for this year, the only ones that I feel like that had the impact, like some of those games that were on the actual list, would have to be Call of Duty 4, Angry Birds, Quake, uh, and probably Wii Sports. Those would be probably like my top few picks. Only one of them is gonna get it. So,
yeah.
um, Age of Empires, I feel like if you look at like StarCraft already being in there, like RTS is kind of already like represented. So,
Yeah.
and I would argue that that StarCraft is I like Age of Empires, but StarCraft is a better RTS than Age of Empires, I would say. Even though I do really like Age of Empires. Um
Age of Empires is pretty iconic, I feel
is
like.
good, but I would say if you were to like hold them like as like from a pure like cultural standpoint too, like how
Oh
big
man,
StarCraft
dude.
was, and how well it played. Um
Insufficient pylons. I still hear that in my dreams.
but did you play as
Protoss for life.
Did you play as Protoss? So
Oh
I
yeah,
played
dude.
as
Love
I was
Protoss.
I would play as I would go back and forth. Sometimes I'd play as Zerg, and sometimes I'd play as I would never play as Terran. Um,
My
but
brother, my brother played as Terrans because he liked getting those Goliaths, which were pretty sick.
I remember in StarCraft 2, because I was actually got big into StarCraft 2. I would always play as the Protoss and do a blink stalker rush with sentries.
Mm,
You could only have like three.
mm.
You'd have like 3 or 4 stalkers and the sentries to like split off forces and like yep, it was good. Next story, Phil Spencer. This actually comes from PC Gamer, but Phil Spencer has been hinting that he wants to get a full-blown Xbox app, branded app on the iOS store and Android platforms by the end of 2024. Um, that doesn't surprise me too much. The big fight that really has been on Apple because Apple likes to take a cut of everything that's bought
Yeah.
on separate marketplaces. So that's going to be the big stick in the mud that I think. But it doesn't surprise me that Microsoft's going that way, especially with Game Pass and all this
Mm-hmm.
stuff, being able to like make purchases from there and queue it up on your console. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I feel like that's a nail on the head. I mean, that's the big thing. It's like you said, it's Apple. It's usually Apple that holds up everything because, like you said, they pretty much are like, I want, where's my cut? Where's
Right.
my cut? You
And
know, and a lot of people
Google will
don't
be
like
the
that.
same way on Android, but I feel like they're not
Oh,
the
yeah.
they're. I feel Google is usually always a little bit more willing to make a deal, than
Yeah. Yeah.
Apple.
They're a little bit more flexible, I feel like. Yeah, I feel like you're right.
Yeah, but it doesn't surprise me that they're looking to do this. That
No, not
They've
at
probably
all.
been thinking about it for a while. This is just the first that like Phil Spencer has officially said anything on record.
Mm-hmm.
But they've probably been thinking about this for a while. Next story comes from VentureBeat. Respawn is opening a new location in Wisconsin, Madison to be exact, to support Apex Legends. So Respawn looks like that's like what, their third or fourth location. We were kind of talking about that in the little chat the other day when we were actually just earlier today when we were talking about EA. When I said Respawn is like the only decent studio left under
Oh yeah.
EA. But yeah, Respawn's opening another location. And if you don't know who Respawn is, Titanfall, Apex Legends, and then the Star Wars games that the Jedi Survivor and Jedi, what's the new one coming out? Or no, it was the Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor. That's what it is.
Yes. Yep.
But yeah, they did those games. So like I said, they're the one exception to the EA doesn't make good games. And technically I would say EA doesn't make these games. It's Respawn with EA's money.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're opening another small studio to help with, like, it's specifically going to be targeted at Apex, which is kind of their bread. Like, as much as you might not like the battle royale, let's face it,
That's their baby, though.
Fortnite
Yeah.
and Apex are both really popular.
Yeah, they're still going pretty hard.
And that gives them money to make things like, the Star Wars games and, continue to do that. So I don't know. What do you think about them getting a new studio though? Or a new
I think
location?
that's cool. Given some more support due, like we said, that's kind of their baby. So that makes sense to me to give additional support to probably one of their biggest, if not their biggest, cash revenue right there, And Apex is such a beloved game. So yeah, definitely cool. Definitely cool to see.
Yeah. Next story comes from Variety. Looks like the Gears of War movie though. They announced a writer. It's John, and I'm gonna butcher this because I don't pay attention to Hollywood, but John Spadis. It's the dude who did Dune and Doctor Strange, the writer on those. So he's tapped to do the Gears of War movie.
I can be, generally that kind of excites me because I really liked the Doctor Strange movie, honestly. I thought the writing for them were really good, really solid. So that kind of hypes me up. And I feel like Gears, being a Gears fan and playing all the Gears games, I feel like that could really translate pretty good into like a sick media platform, doing a movie or a show. That'd be, that's got me kind of hyped up now that you say that.
I just want them to cast Dave Bautista as Marcus Phoenix.
Well, they better.
Seems slam dunk.
They like modeled his character after Dave Bautista.
I know. Let's be honest. So why don't they just
looks just like him?
Yeah, and I'm sorry. Between the three that have gotten into acting, The Rock, Bautista, and John Cena, Bautista's got the most range. I'm sorry. But
I just watched something with Bautista in it the other day. I can't remember what it was now.
He's got the most range. Sorry. Like, I think he's better than John Cena and better than The Rock. But that's just me. But yeah, make him Marcus Phoenix.
Oh, you know what it was? I watched Riddick. Yesterday, and that's got Bautista in it. I forgot all about that. Yep.
Next one comes from GameSpot. Speaking of being live on Twitch right now, Twitch lays off over 400 people and their CEO steps down.
Wow.
Yep. Twitch announced that it has undergone a mass layoff with more than 400 employees losing their jobs. Along with this news, Twitch CEO and co-founder Emmett Shear has stepped down after 16 years.
Wow.
So
that's nutty.
And it's looks like there's a smaller quote here that says the revenue growth has not kept up with expectations. I mean, that doesn't surprise me too much with like Twitch hasn't done much to innovate in a long time.
No.
Where like YouTube is kind of shifted to allow live streaming and like focused on that. Twitch hasn't done a whole lot to innovate. They've changed revenue splits, but that's like about it. And I feel like Amazon just bought Twitch to kind of bleed as much money out of it until they can just kind of sell it off or get rid of it. I don't know. What do you think?
Um, First off, that's shocking. That's a mass layoff. Number two, your CEO just stepping down after 16 years. That's oof, that's a big hit. Um, but yeah, you're right. They really haven't innovated much since then. Like you said, it's basically back and forth on how much revenue you're getting these days. And you see a lot of Twitch streamers, they grumble about it, like how they flip back and forth between this and that. So
And John brings up a point in the chat that YouTube has Google backing them, which yeah, but you can also tell that Google is taking a vested interest in YouTube clearly, which is why
yeah,
they do innovate. Where Amazon isn't really putting any money behind Twitch at all. They're just
no.
it's stayed the same. Discoverability is really bad on Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
It's so hard to find there's no algorithm on Twitch pushing anybody. It's just there's the category and who's got the most viewers. Like that's it.
Yeah. But the only thing you can do is pay for a boost up onto the
right,
higher part of the page or whatever.
right.
And that's about it. But like, who wants to continuously keep putting their own money in? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. And YouTube gets content creators fierce with censorship. Hey, it happens here on Twitch too. It works both ways. I think my
yes.
point is just more or less is you've got, you know, one platform really investing into like what they can do to like make it more accommodating for creators, and another one that's literally doing nothing. They're just kind of sitting there. Twitch has definitely just been kind of sitting there spitting their wheels for like at least for the last few years that I've been on it, kind of like streaming like on and off. It's there's been no major fundamental change. So
About the biggest thing they have right now is the whole like Amazon Prime and being able to Prime sub and then
but they've
getting
had that for a while now.
right, and then obviously you get like exclusive rewards, that's linked to having both Twitch and Prime, which
Right.
is it's a cool thing. But like you said, it's been around for a while. They haven't really
But then they turn
come out
around
with anything new.
and then they turn around and got rid of hosting. Like like
Yeah.
like now you can't host anybody anymore. So it's like I don't know I don't know. I don't know what you do with Twitch in 2023. So no matter who would own it. Next story, this is kind of coming this is a little bit of a rumor. But this comes from GameReactor.eu. There's a rumor that From Software is working on a new mystery game. So we know that they're working on the Elden Ring expansion. They're working on Armored Core. But they also have some sort of mystery project in the works. What do you think it could be? Could we see a Bloodborne 2?
So we were talking earlier before the stream here, and I swear I had read something somewhere, seen something that kind of alluded to like what its genre or whatever it's going to be on, but I don't know, it's hard to say. Now I did see a tweet from Maximilian, dude, my guy, and it was a picture of one of the fights from Bloodborne that said, "We need our Bloodborne remake." And I'll be honest with you, I would be all over that.
I
So,
would like another
um,
Sekiro, but I mean that's
but yeah, even like just a sequel to it would be cool. Although I don't know how you would really do a Bloodborne 2 with the way it ends. Um, but nevertheless, it would be cool if they could find some way to do that. But they kind of made it as a one-off, and that's the thing, right? Like it's such a beloved game. It's my favorite game that they've made out of the like Soulsborne series, but they clearly designed it to be a one-off game, right? Like because like I said, the way it ends, like there's no real like, oh, whatever. But then again, I mean, the Dark Souls games, they're not really all linked together in a sense, if that makes sense. Like
yeah,
they're not like direct sequels to each other.
yeah, they're like all in like a shared universe, but they're not like
Mm-hmm.
necessarily like related ish. Yeah. I don't know
Yeah.
too much about it, but I know that much. Staying on the rumor train. I can't talk today. This one comes from insidergaming.com. F-Zero GX to be remastered, according to a rumor.
Talk
which
about called it.
yeah, I was like, give me another F-Zero, or I'll take a remaster of an F-Zero. But yeah, I'm really excited about that because F-Zero is, I don't know if you played F-Zero that much growing up, but I did, and F-Zero is fucking awesome. It's hard, but it's fucking awesome.
Hmm.
And yeah, I don't know. What do you think about, F-Zero making a comeback? Maybe
I'm excited.
maybe this is like testing the waters to see if because Nintendo's done a lot of that. They did like the Metroid 2 remastered on 3DS, and then they came out with Metroid Dread right afterwards. And
Hmm.
it was like they were testing the waters just with a remake before they did a full
Hmm.
blown one. But I don't know. Did you play a lot of F-Zero growing up?
I didn't play a whole lot of it, but what I remember is, like you were saying, it's hard, and I remember it being hard because like the maps were fucking crazy, right? Like fucking just they were out of the world compared to other racing game maps at the time, and I remember that. Like, I think one of them because like you're not like in a car, right? You're like in a hovercraft kind of thing,
Yeah, and it's
and
super fast paced.
I remember this one level track, you like flew over this like another highway and you could like get hit by the cross traffic or something if I remember correctly, and
Yep.
just they were the first ones that started doing like crazy shit like that, and I just remember thinking like this is gnarly.
Yeah,
So
it's super fast. The controls are super sensitive, so like you could like overturn
mhm,
really easily. But man, were those games fun, and they had a really good soundtrack. Um,
yes.
but yeah, so that's really cool. And this one was kind of like a little leak story. This comes from NintendoReporters.com. A Donkey Kong game was being developed by Activision, but has since been moved to EPD. Um, which is a studio which is an in-house studio in Tokyo. Um, I just found that a little interesting. And a lot of people at first said, "Oh, that can't be true," but I mean, Ubisoft did the Mario and Rabbids games, uh, so I could see the possibility that maybe they were shopping out Donkey Kong to Activision to do something not like a traditional Donkey Kong game, but just something with Donkey Kong. I don't know. What do you think?
Like a spin-off style game. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
It says actually originally here, Vicarious Visions, who's no longer Vicarious Visions, but they were the ones behind the Tony Hawk remake. They were the ones that were in the negotiation to do something with Donkey Kong.
Hmm. It'll be kind of interesting to see if and what comes out. Hold on a sec.
Cough, cough.
Okay, never mind. I thought I had to sneeze. My bad. I like, so here's my thing. I liked the old school Donkey Kong games, and we're like Super Nintendo version, right? Like I love Donkey Kong 1 and 2, but like everything kind of after that kind of really bounced off of me. So it'll be interesting to see what they decide to do with it, because I was apprehensive at first about 3D Mario. I remember like
Mm-hmm.
Mario 64 is fantastic. It is such a good, for 10 out of 10. It's damn near perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be kind of excited and curious to see what goes on with that.
Yeah, like I said, it's been moved in house now, but that's kind of interesting to see. What kind of game Activision was making with Donkey Kong. That's what I want to know. This is
Mm.
like I said, I don't think it was probably going to be a mainline Donkey Kong game, but I'm just curious to see what they
They,
could have been doing.
maybe they were making like the original, like most people don't realize the original Donkey Kong was him where he threw barrels down at
Yeah, you played
Mario
as
and Mario
Mario.
tried.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jumpman.
imagine like a 3D version of that, like a new age version of that.
Or they were working on a Donkey Kong skin for Warzone.
Oh god. Oh, oh. No, stop.
Next story
Stop.
here.
Stop.
uh,
Stop.
Comes from Kotaku. A Lego racing game looks like a chaotic open world Mario Kart. Lego 2K Drive was announced, and it's a Lego kart racer. Um, that just seems like a cool concept. What do you think about that? Like a Lego
100
style Mario Kart,
100% all over
and it's
that. That
open
would be
world
fun.
too. So
I imagine that would be fun as hell. Like you crash and your car like blows up into a bunch of blocks, dude.
mm-hmm.
Oh, that'd be fun. Slick had this game back in the day, and I don't know why this is what makes me that you saying that makes me think of this. It was a racing game, but it was Hot Wheels, and you literally were an actual Hot
I
Wheels,
had
like
this game too. Was it on computer or was it on something
on
else?
computer. Yep.
Yep,
And
I had it.
you played on a track, like an actual Hot Wheels track, like in a living room, dude. So I could see them leaning into something like that with the Lego kart racer. Oh my god.
Yeah,
I imagine that's probably gonna be fun. And Lego games usually have really good humor in them, so
yeah.
that'll be fun.
That was the first thing I thought of. That was uh that. It was like that's gonna be fun. And also like the amount of traps you could use, and the fact that it's open world, which gives me like Burnout Paradise vibes. I don't know if you ever played Burnout Paradise, but that was like the open world Burnout. Oh, that game was so good because you could just be driving around and be like, oh, there's a race starting over here. Let me get in this race, or
Mm-hmm.
it was so good. Um, Next story comes from Video Games Chronicle, and it's not a huge surprise to me, but Starfield has been rated 18 plus in Australia for high impact drug use. Um, if you've played a Bethesda game since the dawn of time, they've all been M rated. So it does not. This was really like I literally put it next to this. Duh. Like it didn't seem like much of a story, but I mean, looks like it says the nudity is going to be very mild. Uh, Themes of bad language, strong impact for violence. Sounds about right. So I don't know. We don't really have to comment too much on that, but I just want to throw that in there. That's like
Oh
the most
man.
obvious story there.
Oh, obvious, because if you've played any, like you said, any Bethesda game, there's always some sort of alcohol or drug use in there.
Right.
I mean, it is. I mean, even in Skyrim, most people don't realize, but you had like the skooma and the moon sugar and stuff, which were like, they were drugs. They were like narcotics in that world that they created.
Right.
So, like you said, duh, big shocker there,
Yeah. Least shocking story of all time. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
this next one is kind of for me, even though I probably won't play it because I don't play phone games, but Persona 5, The Phantom X, is coming out. This comes from Game Informer, or is actually out now? Or is coming out soon?
Better
Yeah,
download
coming out
it.
soon. It's going to be a free-to-play Persona game, and that kind of continues the story of Persona 5. So I don't know. That's pretty cool. I love those characters. I love that universe. So if it gets more people into Persona, I'm pretty cool with that. Just wanted to touch on that. Next one comes from Game Rant. Suicide Squad delay likely won't change the divisive game futures. This was another one that we kind of already talked about, like that. What can you do to Suicide Squad in a few months to change anything? And the developers are saying
Nothing.
nothing.
Nothing. All that.
Like it's what we talked about. Like we can change some minor things, but we're not going to be able to fundamentally change the game in a couple months here.
To me, it sounds like they're taking your advice and we'll just push it out, take the L, and move on.
Right? Yeah, get it out the door, move on. Yeah. It's so funny. I I feel bad for them at this point. Like it's like
Yes.
it's been delayed. When it first got shown off, people didn't like it. Then it got shown off again. People really didn't like it. Uh yeah, it's not looking that great. Like I said, the only redeemable thing is that whoever the shark guy is that we can't remember his name is being played by Samoa Joe. That's
Oh
about
yeah.
it.
Johnny's in the chat. Ask him who's the shark guy. I can't remember.
There's gonna be a delay in the chat. Yeah, he's in
remember
there. Yeah.
last week we talked about that, and I was like, dude, where is John at when we
King
need him?
Shark.
He would
There
know.
he is with the
King
win.
Shark. There it is.
Yep.
The
So yeah.
dub.
Yep. King Shark is being played by Samoa Joe. But other than that, but did you know that Samoa Joe is also going to be playing Sweet Tooth in the Twisted Metal show? That's coming to
Really?
yeah.
My guy,
Yeah.
Sweet Tooth.
I'm excited about some Twisted Metal. Dude, this is a total rant, like off topic. It has nothing to do with Suicide Squad, but man, I miss me some Twisted Metal.
Okay, real quick, not to delay this too much, but on the OG Twisted Metal, who is your character?
On the original one,
Mm-hmm.
first one,
Or anyone in general. Who did you usually play with?
2, I like to play as Minion, the tank.
Oh, okay.
That you could unlock. But starting out, I think I usually played as Roadkill or Spectre.
Oh, Spectre was the motorcycle guy, right?
No, what was the one that was the Shelby Cobra? That was blue, white and blue
Oh,
with the blue
okay. Yeah,
stripe.
yeah,
That
yeah.
was the other
Yeah,
one I
yeah,
played
yeah.
as. But
I
those are
always
the
played as I think it was called Bertha, the monster truck. I always played as the monster truck
yep.
because you could run other players over and it would damage them.
That was with
The
Minion too. When
tank.
you had the tank, you could just like be
Yep.
running people over. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh,
man, Twisted
God,
Metal.
so good.
Yeah, the only reason we
So
got on
good.
that was because Samoa Joe is in both the Suicide Squad game and yeah, fuck Suicide Squad. Let's talk about Twisted Metal.
Let's talk about a sweet game.
Yeah, let's. Right.
Oh shit.
Um, yeah. Uh, this next story comes from TechCrunch. Ubisoft has a new AI tool that automatically generates dialogue for non-playable characters in games. Um, and that kind of goes into like that whole like chat GBT thing that's been like gaining a lot of steam. It's just, ways for AI to generate actual full-blown conversations. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Um, I don't really have an opinion on that, I guess. Uh, I mean, let's be honest. Do you want Terminators? Because this is how we get Terminators. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Do you want
Um,
Judgment Day? Do you want Skynet? This is how Skynet starts.
yep. That's what John just said in the chat. Skynet. It's Skynet.
Yep.
I mean, it could free up some work, but at the same time, I'm like, I could see an AI generating a really bad conversation. Um,
So all right. I will say this.
I know
So
Chat GBT exists and does a pretty decent job, but I don't know.
I have seen some things where people like have either had like an AI generate a storyline for them, and they like basically give the AI like a couple of ideas, and it generates like a really bad storyline. Or I've seen ones where literally that like this is the big thing. This is a joke, so it's a Yu-Gi-Oh thing. But I've seen people where they literally have an AI build them a Yu-Gi-Oh deck, and they're never good. So it's like,
Right.
you know what I mean? It's AI, it's cool, but like at the same time, I mean, it's still not a human brain. It runs on constraints.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't. We'll just have to see, I guess. They're working on it. They're not saying they implementing it yet, but last story comes from GamesRadar.com. It looks like we might have a release date for the Spider-Man 2 game, for PS5. Excuse me. Um, the Spider-Man 2 release window was set for fall 2023 by Sony, but the voice actor for Venom, Tony Todd, accidentally tweeted a more concrete date. Tweeted looks like, and it's been a deleted tweet, and it tweeted a thing that said looks like September. So we could be expecting that game, in September, which I'm pretty excited for. We've kind of talked about, other than Spider-Man, that's kind of like the only exciting superhero thing coming in the world of games right now. But and Wolverine. But yeah, Tony Todd. Yep, he's gonna be playing Venom. So John just got excited there in the chat. I'm pretty
Well,
excited for it.
correct me if I'm wrong. You actually played like the latest Spider-Man games, didn't you?
Yeah, I played both of them. They were both phenomenal.
Yeah. I missed out on playing them, but like I know that they're like a lot of people gushed over them, and the all the videos I watched of them, they looked absolutely amazing. I will give the Spider-Man franchise that they
Dude,
they've never really had a bad Spider-Man game,
just
really,
get
that I
that
can
game
think of.
long enough to go swinging through the city. That's the one thing that like they had to nail. It's like if they don't nail the swinging, it's not going to be good. Feels
Mm.
so good to swing in that game.
It's not as good as flying in Superman 64. Felt so good. So good.
You hurt me. You just say
Kidding.
things to hurt me.
Oh,
I
yeah,
know you don't believe
definitely.
that.
If you can't nail that, then like the game's just it's not gonna feel good, right? Like you want to feel like you're Spider-Man. So
And like we've
I'm
talked about,
excited.
yeah, and like what they talked about, we got the original Spider-Man with Peter Parker, and then we got Spider-Man Miles Morales, kind of introducing Miles Morales into it. So this second one being able to, all signs are pointing that you're going to be able to go back and forth between the two. Like you play some missions as Peter Parker, some as Miles. So it would be cool to see both of them in that. I'm excited. So I'm also excited for that Wolverine game, but we haven't got a date on that yet.
I want to be able to be like out of shape, middle aged Peter Parker / Spider-Man from Into the Spider-Verse. I
I want Into
absolutely
the Spider
loved him.
in the Miles Morales PS5 Spider-Man game, if you pre-ordered the game or got it within the launch window, you could get the Miles Morales from Into the Spider-Verse skin, and he would be like at a slower frame rate than everything else around him, like kind of like in the movie, because like the movie has like that stuttered like 24-ish frames.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like everything else is like moving at 60, but he's like moving all stuttery still. It looks so cool. um, but
Nice.
that's really cool. Yeah. Sucks for Suicide Squad, but man, Spider-Man seems to be the one I'm looking forward to. And I really want a date for that Wolverine one. I know I just said that, but man, Wolverine seems like it's gonna be sweet. But
I was just talking to Eli about X-Men, and I don't remember what it was. I mentioned something the other day when we were on the phone this weekend, and he was like, I was like, do you know who that is? And he's like, he's an X-Men, right? And I said, oh, I asked him who Wolverine was. That's what it was. And he was like, yeah, he's an X-Men, right? And I was like, he's not any X-Men. He's Dad's favorite X-Men.
He's like the X-Men.
Yeah, no shot.
Yeah, when you think of Wolverine, that's like, when you think of X-Men, that's kind of like the first one that jumps out. It's like Wolverine, Cyclops, like those are like the first two that jump into my mind anyway.
Yep.
My favorite X-Men was probably Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler is pretty legit, I feel like, yeah.
I was more of a villain guy though. Like in the Marvel universe, I tend to like villains more.
Nightcrawler's not really a villain though.
No, I tend to like villains more, which is why I'm like Magneto, Doctor Doom, Apocalypse. But yeah. Like how we just said
Magneto.
Like how we always say that we are superhero out, and then we start ranting about superheroes at the very end of the podcast.
I guess I'm not out if it's something good. I mean, you know.
Yeah, which is few and far between lately. But yeah, what are you going to be getting into this week?
This week, obviously, we are going to be playing more and more Resident Evil for sure. So that's probably going to take over my life this week, honestly. Who knows? We may beat it this week. We may not. We'll see where it goes from there.
Yeah, gonna try to get another stream.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Other than that, I think that's really it. The weather's nice today, so if the weather stays up, I may try to go disc golf sometime this week. Because I was gonna go yesterday, and wouldn't you know it, it was fucking sleeting all day. So was off. Well, don't even get me started on the weather here. It's garbage. Other than that, I honestly, that's probably about it. Just more Resident Evil, just because I'm already hooked. Like I want to keep playing more. I want to see more, you know?
Yeah. I think I am just going to be, I probably won't touch any more of the Diablo beta. It ends tonight. I just kind of wanted to play like the opening, little bit, play that first little dungeon.
Get your toes wet.
Yeah, get that first little dungeon run in, see what it's like. Plays pretty well, so we'll have to wait and see. I don't know if I'll pick it up or not. But I'm definitely curious. But man, I'm gonna be definitely back on that Like a Dragon Ishin train. Even more. I'd like to get one more stream. Yeah, it's got my claws. It's got my claws in me. I would like to do at least one more stream of that, and then maybe get into Stranger Paradise. Finally, and maybe do a stream of that. And because I don't have really anything on the docket as far as new games until Final Fantasy 16 comes out, at least for me. So I'm just gonna be rotating between the usual stuff right now. But that's a podcast. That's episode 10. We're in the double digits. It's all downhill from here.
We finally got our big boy pants on.
Yeah. Learned how to ride a bike. Got the training wheels off. So Brandon, where can they find you?
Well, you can find me over on Twitter at EnrageMe with an H at the end. Or you can find me, as always, on Twitch at twitch.tv/EnrageMe, also with an H at the end.
You can find me on Twitter at chasing_chase. You can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/chasingchasetv. You can follow us on Twitter and on YouTube at _BlackBoxSignal and Twitch /BlackBoxSignal after twitch.tv, of course. And you can send us emails at blackboxsignalpodcast@gmail.com. We are on Spotify. We are on Apple Podcasts. We're on YouTube. We might get on Amazon. Who knows? I'm working on that. But yeah, stay tuned for next week where these double-digit trains going to keep rolling. And
Keep on rolling, baby.
and as always, stay safe, comrades.